17 minutes past the hour of 5, and it is still Desert FM. It's a rush hour rewind. And today we are getting into perhaps very interesting discussions, and I'll tell you why. We are going to chat sports, we're going to chat education, we're going to chat innovation, and various other portfolios. And I'm sure you already know which portfolio I'm talking about. Today, she held her first official staff meet and greet with the ministerial team at Eros Primary School, setting the tone for her leadership in Namibia's largest ministry. Talking about the Minister of Education in Sanet Steenkamp, who previously served as Executive Director, now takes charge of a portfolio that not only carries the biggest national budget at $24.8 billion Namibian dollars for the 2025-2026 financial year, but also oversees critical sectors shaping Namibia's future. The total of $76.1 billion Namibian dollars earmarked over the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework. Expectations are quite high. But just how will she navigate an expanded mandate that now includes youth, sports, and innovation, some of which have been marred by administrative and financial controversies? Well, she joins us now to unpack her vision, priorities, as well as the challenges ahead. Thank you so much for making some time for us today, Honourable Minister. It's the first time we're speaking to you as a minister, so congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you very much, CJ.
Indeed. This is clearly the biggest ministry in the history of the country since independence. We spoke about that briefly off air. How do you intend to administer your mandate with such a broad portfolio?
So I think first and foremost, you as a minister and the deputy minister, you must understand what your mandate entails. And we, of course, we call them now functionaries or entities. We had 3 entities, each one with their own strategic plan. So they are guiding documents, first and foremost. They are guiding policies. You have your NDP6 plans, you have your strategic plans for each entity that were crafted already. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the Swapo Party manifesto implementation plan. That have, of the 7 key priority areas, 4 of them falls under our ministry. Now, you have that, your policies, your strategic plans. Now we have to form one integrated business plan, strategic plan for the next 6 years, which is aligned with the NDP6. But you also have already established structures, organizational structures, within that you, and remember, we are not new necessarily, yes, to certain mandates, but you have structures in place. You've got your executive management in place who meets on a regular basis. You have briefing sessions. You've got scheduled meetings on a technical level that runs throughout the week. So we have to make sure that we don't necessarily need time to settle in. You need time to understand your mandate and then commit with your team to carry out that mandate and have a high performance culture within the ministry.
With not having time to settle in, how then are you going to make sure that there is harmony within the ministry between the various portfolios, especially seeing that some might not be used to the other portfolios and it's new for everyone?
Absolutely, and I was saying that today, that we need to be open and adjust. We are lifelong learners. I said today that we need harmonious working relationships. So first and foremost, there's no room in our ministry for personalities. When I received my appointment letter, at the same day and at that event, the deputy minister learned that he's joining me. He bent forward and he said, "My minister." Immediately the respect was established. We had our first meeting 2 hours long on a Sunday. Right thereafter, we called all the directors, deputy executive directors, and the EDs for these responsible entities together. And we sat with them, very clear about what it is that we envisage to have. We shared the Excellency's a vision, and we were also sharing the expectations that we were having and how we're working together. And I can assure you that we have a very strong team. We have people who are ready to come with their expertise, who come with their best practices, they come with the experience, the qualifications. They are well established in their various mandates. And the beauty of it all is that already we have started identifying the synergies. Our transition starts off with the Directorate Planning, Directorate General Services, Directorate Human Resources, and Finances. So already there we bring the teams together. So that have started on a technical level. Where do you integrate? In youth development, for example, there's so many activities that are integrated into adult education, that are integrated into education program and quality assurance. We have the innovation, the entrepreneurial. So there's a lot that we find it's actually overlapping.
So essentially, it was a very sensible thing to do. For
Absolutely.
I said, those portfolios together.
Absolutely. You couldn't say it better, CJ. You know, Her Excellency had the foresight that it's actually, we need to bring together and merge these ministries into consolidating it into one because of the whole holistic development of the child, the youth, the student, the person.
And with that consolidation also then comes, inheriting whatever came with the other portfolios you weren't in charge of previously, right? We're looking at sports and we're looking at higher education, for instance. Many controversies throughout the last administration that we've reported on. We look at the issues in the NYC, you look at the debacles that have been happening at universities, as well as within the Ministry of Higher Education now under your ministry. How are you going to handle those controversies that you've now inherited?
So, there's a saying that when you buy a farm or when you inherit a farm, you also inherit the snakes that comes along with it. With that, we are saying that with contentious and controversial matters, with matters where there's high public interest, with matters that we have seen that it must be dealt with, this is our approach. We've decided, and we know that there are many from different sectors who wish to advise. I acknowledge that. But we are our own persons. We are going to handle this in a very professional manner, make sure that we have all the details and documentation and the facts before us, that we study that, and that we remain objective and neutral. Only focus on what is within our legal frameworks and how it should be handled. And after consulting still, that is when we will act. So give us a bit of time. We said there's no time for settling in. We started, running with our mandate already while we're busy in the transitioning phase. But we are saying we will deal with it. There's no way that we're not going to tackle issues heads on. That will happen. There will be engagement. There will be no victimization, no discrimination against any entity or person. What we will only look at is what is presented to us in terms of the facts. And you will not believe the more I read, in the evenings or early morning hours, the more you realize that you actually have so much to learn still and so much more to gain and to contribute. So we are excited. We're not saying it's going to be easy. We're not saying it's going to be without any obstacles. We're not saying that, but we will be able to handle any interferences.
We had reports over the past day or two around the issue of the Vice Chancellor of the Namibia University of Science and Technology, whose tenure will come to an end December 31st, as far as we understand. There were reports that he had come to you and asked whether you could extend his contract. I'm giving you this opportunity now to set the record straight on what that actual conversation was, if at all, and what the situation with his role is at the university.
I would like to state the following. There was never a one-on-one meeting with myself and the Vice Chancellor. That people must understand. Second thing that we need to understand is that NUST has got a council. There are legal statutes. There are acts in place that guides the operations of NUST. So if the council has made a decision, there is a distinct differentiation that we must make between political interference and giving audience to listen. We have a council meeting. We have the following issues that we bring forward on our agenda. We wish the Honourable Minister to take note of this. That's the kind of engagements that we had. So we were sitting in the boardroom, it's in a meeting. Whoever's, I have not even read the newspapers. I was only alerted, that there was a headline. I wish to pertinently state that we will, as all times, we will make a distinction between political interference and being well informed about what's happening. And where needed, we will always go back to what does the law make provision for? What is the policies? What do the policies and the statutes of NUST make provision for? And there are three. legal documents that are being followed. I think, when people are uncertain about issues, it's best not to spread misinformation, but also to speak to the chairperson of the council to hear, has there been a resolution? Has this been confirmed? That indeed the contract is coming to an end, and which legal provision is there to inform the VC that your contract will lapse? It says that it must be 9 months before the time. Is he eligible to apply? Absolutely. Would it be advertised? Well, those are the issues that the council have discussed and then issued that press statement.
So to set the record straight, the VC did not come to you and ask for an extension on a one-on-one.
I did not have a personal meeting with the VC. That I want to pertinently state.
I want us to quickly look at the issue of basic education, which some could call your child, even though you're not allowed to have favorites now anymore, right? You have a lot on your plate. How are you going to make sure that you get the best results for the basic education department and portfolio while you have so much on your plate? Because every year, I'm sure you know this now, there are many issues. Now with the rain, there's flooding around all the schools. There's the issue of the food and the tender that was reported in the paper this morning, the issues of results and various other issues that teachers might have through their unions, etc., stuff you've dealt with for years. You have other stuff to deal with now. What's your plan of basic education?
Oh, well, basic education, the strategic plan is drawn up. The amount that you mentioned for basic and for basic and higher and innovation, basically the education budget, that's a whole $24 billion. All right? That is only for education. Sports alone is 1.3 billion. So we work with a budget of 26.1 billion. For education alone, it's already 8% of our GDP goes to education. Now, we have structures in place. We've got deputy executive directors. We've got an ED who will be supported by another ED. We have the ED who's got executive powers and who's the budget holder. He's the accounting officer. That's Mr. Heitingela. I want to make that very clear. Mr. Heitingela will be supported by Mr. Gerard Vries as an executive director. So you have the systems and the processes are in place. Our plans are drawn up. Our plans come from the bottom. That is how it comes up. So in terms of teacher professional development, in terms of carrying out our implementation charter, all that has been budgeted for, and our activities have already started. We started with induction meetings just last week and engaging around key performance areas, national standards, and key performance indicators for all our schools, which means a school in Arawak must have the same standards as a school in Okongo. And that is what we're working towards. Professional development of our teachers, making sure that the money reaches our schools on time, which we've already, 80% of the schools, especially our secondary schools, have received their funding already. With the new release of the budget, we will now attend to the primary school. So all systems are in place. I might not, and I must admit that you're now operating at a different level, and you have to respect the mandate and the work of the executive director and not interfere, but you can always listen and understand the operations. But all the systems are in place. People know how we're operating, how the money should be spent and where, and also to avoid any wastages. So I think my team, I've got a very, very strong team, and we're very blessed, the Deputy Minister and I, to be working with the current team that we have.
Just before we let you go, briefly for us, if you can, you've now adopted that sport portfolio. We're going to be seeing you more around at stadiums and wearing national colors.
Well, the infrastructure development in all three entities are of crucial importance. It's the same for our sports complexes. It's the same for our multipurpose youth centers and at the stadium. And yes, I am very excited to learn as much as I can and to contribute and to just enjoy sports in general as well, while we continue to promote sport. And it is our wish that our teams will play on home ground, and we will facilitate that.
Well, we'll hope and we'll wait for that. Honourable Minister Sanet Steenkamp, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, CJ, for having me.
Takes us to 5:32 rather, and that does conclude the conversation we have now with the Minister of Education, that's Sanet Steenkamp, who has a lot on the plate now with so many other portfolios, innovation, youth, sport, arts and culture, among the list of them. We'll see how it pans out.